we start with our soft opening as we always do.
National Poetry Month.
All right, let's start the music.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we are here. Look like I caught you. I don't know what you're doing over there. Hey, family, this is
all the streams.
Okay. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review, where we come to you live. We stream live from Mott Branch Library to talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a few things that's coming up in the future. So what we're going to do right now is click on our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
Not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. we come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you are not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right. Welcome, everyone. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review where we stream live from Mott Branch Library. So let me give a shout out to everybody that I think I know. Kevin, the branch manager, Teresa, Andrea, Olivia, that one lady that always opens the door, and they always roll out the red, black, and green carpet. And security and the security that they have here. Hey, let's get into some introductions. We got a couple of guests. So if it looks like we're running through things for us so we can get to our guests, yeah, that's what we're doing. And also the NAACP is in the building too. They're in the library having their monthly meeting and planning some things. And we've got some things to share with you regarding some of the things that they're doing in the community. So let's get into some introductions. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam. And here's a Brother Washington fact. It was 34 years ago. It's 1991. Yeah, 35 years ago in April when I went to my first mosque meeting here in Toledo. I think they asked if any brothers wanted to stand up and commit or whatever. I was standing up for everything. So shout out to Muhammad's Mosque number 91, right there at 1416 Nebraska. We're getting our building back together at 1698. But in the meantime, join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. And also, what am I wearing today? I have on a new bracelet, Jody. I got this from H&M Crafts by Me. I'm going to put up their logo a little bit later on. I met them at Donetta Carter's Health and Wellness Expo. Awesome. And it's always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And as I said earlier, 12 years we've been having our own platform, regardless if it's offline like we do or online, where we can say what we want, invite who we want. And it's awesome for the protest culture and the activist community that we have our own space here. Jody, I'm going to shut it down right now. And I do have on my Christian Moncrief Optigo. And if I say that 3 more times, you get a 40% discount. All right. Hey, all right. You have to fight her. All right. And so I'm done with my intro. If you can intro, and let's get to the mission statement. We'll take a short break and come back with our first guest.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, treasurer of this wonderful organization that is going into our 12th year. And we want to thank everybody for continuing to watch, continuing to comment, continuing to share, and advocate, and come on and be guest. It's a lovely thing when you don't have to pimp yourself out to sponsors and stuff like that, or be toxic, trendy, or triggering to anything like that, and still continue to, raid the airwaves with intelligence. Right. But as always, happy National Poetry Month, happy National Minority Health Month, happy National Muslim Heritage Month, Lupus Month, and a whole bunch of other stuff, whatever you might be celebrating out there, and all that good stuff. And for people that watch me on the show and see me in public, like, well, you ain't serious about your show. You always playing on your phone. Well, I'm the producer. So anytime you see a link that's outside of my personal page, that was me. The first part of the show, what you see me doing with my phone and all that stuff, is basically sending out mass invites to about 340 different pages. So it takes a little time linking up our YouTube, our Spotify, and all that stuff. But I let you see the process because, there is no studio magic here. It's just two guys trying to make it work.
No magic. No.
As you see, we got our little green cards right here. So no teleprompters and stuff like that. But we want to thank you for, again, coming back each and every week, leaving comments and stuff like that. Hopefully you're enjoying the warm Midwest weather, minus the storms and stuff that might be happening late at night and everything like that. What am I wearing? Which I always forget to do. Brother Washington is so great at describing what he has on. And the reason why we do this, because we know we are on platforms where you can't actually see us. And we believe in accountability. So we don't want you listening to a Black program, and neither one of us are. So we describe ourselves.
That's right. It's a lot of them out there too.
There is a lot of them out there. Again, the trendy, triggering, or topic shows that have taken over the podcast and media and news and stuff like that. But I am a big brown bear of a man covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from doing this for the past 12 years, writing books, publishing books, performing on stage all over the world. Last year I was in Paris, doing stuff with museums, making sure we secure our spot right here in the library. Because,
that's right.
When all the trendy topic or triggering stuff is gone, there still will be libraries and all that stuff. So I'm wearing, my artist non-fatigue blue thing that keeps all the stuff, all the buttons. People the other day was like, oh, your buttons and stuff. And I'm like, you should have seen me in 2016.
That's right.
Bandoliers of buttons and all kinds of stuff. Somebody reminded me, even though it wasn't up that far, I thought it was funny. They said I had wristbands up to my elbows, but now we've done a little bit of middle.
It was close. I was there. It was close. It was close, bro.
It was 14, 7 on each one. Actually, carry in my little bag, but and then I got a gift over on this side, which I might see from a friend artist of mine named Darius. So that's kind of the stuff. If you see the staff, which you can't really see behind me, it gets collected. So I know I'm a very public figure. So that also increases your brand. The brand of my hat is always going to be mine. I'm wearing a Sonia Organics shirt for Urban Holistics. And yeah, that's about all you can see from this angle of the camera. I do have pants on, but all that stuff.
And I'm appreciative of that. All right. Just in case they didn't know, I am appreciative of that.
But that was that one period in the time during the pandemic where, you'd be seeing people from the waist up and you don't know anything. A couple people got caught doing that. But if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not letting the news with Iran and the Straits and the recent, the cop and stuff. But yeah, we got some justice really quick. So hopefully.
We'll get on him a little bit later on.
Yep. Hopefully you're not letting all that deter you from finding your happiness. Go out, enjoy the sun, maybe start a garden this summer, or things like that. And how do you get to this point? How do you live through some of the most traumatic parts of human history and still find a way to smile? Well, we have our mission statement
and the guiding principles that help us really navigate with all of the protesters coming together and doing everything in the same place. And on paper, it looks impossible, but we make it work.
Yep. One step at a time, one board at a time. I had another board meeting right before this. Yesterday was executive committee where I endorsed some people and abstained from endorsing some other people, but it's all a beautiful connection. And if you are joining an organization, if you are starting anything, whether it be a nonprofit, for-profit, kitchen and stuff like that, we hope that you have a Bible or a Bible, as I like to call it. That way you can pass it down to other people without just handing them this organization has been around for a while and they, disrespect your investors and stuff like that. But we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and
citizen advocacy
to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. And justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And funny story about that, this 19th, me, Brother Washington, and our guest will be...
we're going to be at Breaking the Silence at Monroe Street Church.
Reading the words of Dr. King himself on 419 Day.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's one day from 420.
Right. That's our area code, Michigan.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So
all
that
right.
419 Day is for Toledo, even though we got 567.
All right. See that? Hey, look on that note, let's take a short break. We're going to bed. All right. Yeah. That just messed up my whole day right there. I was feeling proud about my city until you added, hey, let's take a short break. We're going to come back with our first guest. This is the CSRN podcast, and we're on camera B too. I don't know if we acknowledge them out there. All right.
You can see our guest in the background.
Right. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We'll be right back.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Welcome back to the Elgic channel. In our last video, we learned how to properly clean our TV for that perfect movie night. In case you missed it, you can check it out by clicking the link below. But what's a TV without its remote control? It's the accessory that gets handled the most and collects a lot of germs, dust, and grime. So today, we're giving it a proper clean to keep it fresh and ready for use. And the best part is that these same steps can also be used for streaming sticks, gaming controllers, and even household appliance remotes. Now, let's get it clean. To clean your remote, all you need are household items. You'll need a microfiber cloth, a small brush or toothbrush, a toothpick, rubbing alcohol or bleach-free disinfecting wipes, and a cotton swab. Now, to clean our remote, first remove the batteries. Then, tap the back to shake out loose debris. Use a toothbrush and toothpick to remove crumbs and dirt between the buttons. Next, for an initial wipe, dampen your microfiber cloth with alcohol or use disinfecting wipes to wipe down the front, back, and side of the remote. Remember, never spray liquid directly on any controller. To ensure the areas around the buttons are disinfected, dip a cotton swab in alcohol, squeeze out the excess, and wipe the nooks and crannies around the buttons. Then, do a final wipe down. Lastly, allow the remote to air dry before reinstalling the batteries. And there you have it, a fresh and disinfected remote control. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. You can click the link in the description box below for our other tutorials. And don't forget, cleaning is a family affair. See you next time, and as always, let's get it clean.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. Once again, shout out to Mott Branch Library. All right, family, whenever we have a guest, there's a CSRN tradition that we ask them who they are, what they're wearing, and what we're talking about. So nothing's going to change with this edition of our podcast celebrating National Poetry Month. So who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
All righty. I am Sister Yvette Muhammad. I am wearing a satin garment with sequence embellishments. I am with the Nation of Islam, and I am here because I want to talk to you all about a workshop that we're having on this coming Saturday, which is called How to Keep House.
All right. So I'm going to ask you if you could position the microphone kind of like mine, because if you by the side right there, we may not get the great audio. So
all right,
you're talking about, let's bring up that flyer. I think we had loaded it in our system. We're trying to do better now. Jody said that it's only two of us. Well, it's maybe a little bit more. All right, here's the flyer right here. It says How to Keep House. Muhammad's Mosque, number 91, MGT and GCC present. So I don't know if we have to, that's a lot of letters.
It is.
Of what it means and why are we doing something called How to Keep House. And you've got mentally, spiritually, and physically. For the people that's watching, what's that all about?
Okay, so I want to go back to all of those letters because they are some very meaningful letters. MGT and GC stands for Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization Class. And a lot of times people are very familiar with the brothers in the Nation of Islam because they see them selling papers on the corners, but they don't see the sisters as much. And MGT and GCC are the body of women in the Nation of Islam. And we study a number of subjects. And one of the subjects that we study is how to keep house. And a lot of people think that keeping house is simply a matter of cooking and cleaning inside the house. But how to keep house is a fundamental practice, and homes are the launching pads of family life, really of society. Keeping our homes is not a simple matter of cleanliness, although it includes cleanliness and it includes order, because that is the space and the structure for peace of mind. So, keeping the house has to do with being mindful. It's the activity that occurs in the home, and that is the womb for the life that comes out of the home. And so it's really important for the home to be just that, the space where life is cultivated. And life is cultivated in order. And so this idea of spiritual, mental, and physical keeping house is what's going to be presented on Saturday. It is for both men and women. I believe that every participant is going to be very interested in the execution of this workshop, because our very first house is the temple that God dwells in, which is us. So when you start talking about keeping house, it's not just the surface or external structure outside of us, it's the temple first. And to see that parallel walked down, keeping the external house as well as our bodies, not just physically, the mind as well, is a very beautiful idea to explore. And so I am very excited about this workshop. Um, the more we put into keeping, not just cleaning up, because if you've ever seen anyone who had struggles with managing, keeping order, being mindful about their homes, they often have a very difficult time managing their minds, managing themselves, because the keeping of the home comes out of keeping of themselves.
Okay, I want to share the flyer once again on the screen. So if you're watching this online, or if you're watching it later on, you'll see what's on the screen. About this class, I've never heard of, and I don't want to just limit it to cleaning house. When did cleaning house become, so serious? In the way I grew up, it wasn't. It was either put the stuff under the couch, put a rug over that, turn the cushions over, but you've got natural cleaning solutions.
Right.
There's creating a balanced home.
Right.
Simple daily systems.
Right.
And it's going to be an in-person demo. So,
right.
I don't know. Can you talk about what the in-person demo is going to be, or should we wait till? Or
if I tell you everything,
okay, all right, okay,
then you might not come. But can I say this? Just like the systems in the body, there has to be systems in your daily life, and a lot of times, if you tend to fall behind, then you tend to fall behind, meaning that you might have that tendency to clean up when company is coming over, but then the tendency to still fall behind constantly. So the whole premise is to develop a system. If you've ever, understood the whole idea, if you clean up behind yourself, you really never have to really have a big cleanup in general. And, there was a time, I know when I was growing up, that we had these regular days where I think a lot of us remember when the music comes on Saturday and the house gets cleaned. There was a time where walls got cleaned. But now there's times that sounds absurd that walls get cleaned. And so, the home was treated as a home, whether you rented the home or you owned the home, because there was an accountability for the space that we lived in, and everybody who could do something, did something. And it just was not such a reality that you expected a landlord to come over and clean your walls because you weren't the homeowner. And so there is, and it's the same thing, with our own personal selves. No one can come and live your life and care for you. And, you can eat, but there's a different set of understanding when you understand that your healing cannot be done by another person. preparing your immune system cannot happen because somebody else loves you. You still have to take responsibility for yourself, regardless, of whether someone else loves you, whether you're in a relationship or not, and so this is the parallel that is going to be walked throughout this whole workshop. And then as far as natural cleaning solutions and things like that, there really doesn't have to be a lot of money put into the management, cleaning solutions and things like that. Lots of things that we need to keep our homes clean, we actually have in the home or we can acquire without a lot of money. So we're going to kind of put those things together and see just how little finances are needed in order to do that, and reintroduce some of the things that we probably just forgot about, and remind ourselves of the systems that we can maintain. But we just have to move up to the side some of the things that have taken priority and have kind of overcome us in taking up space in our mind and times.
All right, I'm going to put up the flyer once again.
Thank
Okay, you said that all are welcome.
Yes.
So when I think about how to keep house, of course, we live in a sexist world. So my sexist brain starts to activate. All right, so have men can come too.
We have several men, not one or two. We have several men, a good portion of men who come. And it's unfortunate to have a sexist brain because sometimes men live in the home by themselves. So I'm not sure who's cleaning their homes. And men live in their own bodies. And so they're responsible for their own care and their own bodies. And the same clutter that happens in women's body happen in men's bodies and in men's minds. And the chaos and the dis-ease and the things that junk up our women's lives junk up men's lives. So the information that is being shared is important for men also. Men govern their lives, men govern their homes, men also take care of, their children and their grandchildren. So the principles that are being shared are equally important for men as they are for women.
All right. I wanted to talk about the put the flyer back there again. And okay, so we talked about the what it is. We talked about the natural cleaning solutions, creating a balanced home, the simple daily system. But you said you weren't going to just share everything because then they'd have no need to come.
That's right.
All right. So this is April 8th. It's going to be April 18th, 3:30 p.m. How do I pronounce that?
It's the eBite Center. The eBite Center is at 1806 Madison Avenue, which is very near to the cross street of 17th Street. And that is above the Market on the Green. It's a property that's owned by ProMedica. Market on the Green is downtown Toledo, and right above it on the second floor is the eBite Center. It's a very nice space. They hold GED classes in that space. We've done cooking classes in that space. And so we hope people are able to come. It's a very nice space. And I'm looking forward to people coming to join us there.
Man, how do they contact you if a person sees this tomorrow? What do they have to do in order to register, and how much does it cost? Is there a cost?
There is no charge at all. And we will, I wanted to add one more thing. We will be doing some hands-on demonstration. Each person will be able to take some of the products that we make together home with them. We'll be having a tasting of the navy bean pie. We have filled to the brim for our most recent workshops, which have been how to make the navy bean soup. We did a recent workshop called What to Do with What You Grow. And it was a workshop on, when you have a garden and you have this overflow of vegetables, what to do with it. We've had an overflow there. We had a beautiful workshop called The Beauty of the Navy Bean. And this space holds like 30 people. And so we're near to full now. So it's very important to register if you want to come so we can be prepared for you. And so to register, just text or call 419-320-2924. 419-320-2924. And I want to also say, once you get hooked on our workshops, you will love them. They're always very interesting. We're going to send you away with something from the workshop, and we're always going to give you a little treat to make sure you come back and see us.
All right. Speaking of coming back, we always ask our guests 2 questions, and you got to come back because you talked about the you had one cooking class, and then there was doing something with what you grow. All right. I think people
what to do with what you grow.
Right. And Jody said earlier, it's going to be garden season soon. And that's something that people, I think they would want to know what to do with those tomatoes, what to do with all of that, whatever they're going to grow. All right. 2 questions. What do you do for self-care at the end of the week or whatever you do? All right. How do you unwind? How do you rebalance?
Okay, so that is a very good question. But on a regular basis, on a daily basis, I try to maintain a state of homeostasis by regular praying, meditating, yoga, exercise, thinking right, and eating right.
Okay. And lastly, 3 things that you're grateful for. What would those things be?
I am grateful that somehow when I became aware of God, that I accepted God in my life. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for every person and event that God put in my life so that they were either a lesson or a blessing.
Okay. All right. And would you be willing to come back at another time to share more, not only about the different events that's coming up, but just in case a sister's looking and saying, wow, what does she have on? How do I get one of those? Do I go, where do you go get those? Would you mind coming back and kind of breaking that down?
I would love to come back again.
All right. Anything else before we take a short break and come back?
No, I don't have anything else, but thank you for having me.
All right. And thank you. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. Family, you know we have trouble with tech. Normally, we have our logo, we've got the music playing. Somebody killed the music and left our logo there, but you know we're back. And big shout out to Sister Yvette Muhammad from the MGT GCC Nation of Islam here in Toledo to talk about how to keep. Let me see what was that flyer again? All right. It was how to keep house mentally, spiritually, and physically. She said that all are welcome. That's Saturday, April 18th, 3:30 p.m. at the Ebite Center, 1806 Madison. We'll put the flyer up maybe a little bit later on when we have our community shout outs and updates with Jody Summers. All right. Who are we looking at? So we always ask who you are, what are you wearing, and what are we talking about? So who are you? What are you wearing? And what are we talking about today?
Okay, today I am Rochelle, the mail lady. So what do I have on? My uniform.
All right.
From head to toe. I have a postal hat on, a knit hat. I have my blue work shirt and my winter pants.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. All right. So, Rochelle, man, I have found out, I finally got a good chance to talk to you. I've seen you for probably the last 20 or 30 years and really never talked with you about who you are. And we're going to talk about lupus. Why is that an important subject for you? And why should people know?
Why is it important to me?
Yeah.
Because I have lupus. Was diagnosed in my 30s. I am 55 now. And lupus wasn't a disease that was talked about. So since I have come out and say this is what scars my face, which is discoid lupus, people in Toledo have been learning more and more and more about lupus. They didn't really know that 1.6 million people across the states have lupus, and 66,000 of us in the state of Ohio has lupus. Nobody knew that lupus was out there
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right. And you know, we had the CEO of the Lupus Foundation of America Greater Ohio chapter, and we received a lot of positive response when she came on and talked about it, how it affected her life, and why everybody really needs to make sure that they're here in that's in Toledo, that they come out. I think that's next month. So, why do you think? It's taken so long for somebody like me? And I'm one of those that didn't know. I'm one of those that thought, well, that has nothing to do with us. I'm one of those that was like, well, I've never seen lupus, so why would I even, care? So what do you think it is that's helped create more awareness now?
Well, first of all, it takes a long time to diagnose lupus.
Okay.
Because lupus mimics so many other diseases that it takes time, trial and error. And that's how mine was discovered, because they had to put me on a bunch of different medicines.
Right.
And then they did a biopsy. And it wasn't until they cut into one of the flare-ups that I was having on my face that they discovered that I had lupus.
Man.
So people didn't really know. And then a lot of people don't like telling that they have lupus because people look at you strange.
Right.
Because the first thing when they didn't even know I had lupus, but the first thing that came out of their mouth, you're ugly. So not even being educated on what was going on with my face, they were quicker to say you're ugly. So it's just taking a while for people to actually come out. Seal had to come out, Nick Cannon had to come out, Selena Gomez had to come out, Snoop Dogg's daughter had to come out. There are so many people famous that we know that have lupus, but they had to come out and start telling you that lupus looks like the everyday person. It's on the everyday person, and you would never know that.
Yeah. All right. So those names that you mentioned, I had no idea that Seal had lupus.
Yeah, he has discoid lupus just like me.
And
they say when men get lupus, it's worse than women. It's worse than women. Yes.
I thought that, and family, I'm just sharing my ignorance, and hopefully through me sharing my ignorance, I'll help somebody else too. When I first saw Seal, there was some type of cut or something on his face. I thought that he just got into a fight.
Nope.
I thought that, wow, that guy must be tough, because if he's got a scar, the other guy must be, really messed up. And just, in just the name lupus, it's not like breast cancer awareness. It's not like prostate health. So something about the name and the stigma and the silence has really kept that on the back burner. And I'm glad that this year I finally met up with you, and I had no idea. I just thought you were the mail lady and you had something on your face. Apparently, you must have had an accident. You must have fell down, or something. And that's something, how you could see somebody and you can judge them and dismiss them.
I've had that happen before. Matter of fact, somebody had just told me
man.
In the Bluegill not too long ago, they said, one day I look at your face and it's scarred up, and then the next day it doesn't. It's not scarred up. So they didn't know what was going on. Well, some days I look like I have lupus, and then some days I don't. And those days I don't, that's because I didn't cover it up with makeup. I've learned to accept me for who I am. I didn't always feel comfortable looking like the girl with lupus. I feel comfortable looking like the girl with lupus, and I also feel comfortable looking like the girl that's a supermodel. Because sometimes I think I'm supermodel quality. Right. Sometimes
hey, you're gonna get us shut down in here. All right. So I want to talk about the walk or the ride. Let me put it on. I'm gonna try to put it on my screen. All right. There's a walk ride. It says "Come out and support Toledo Lupus." Oh, hey, that's you on the.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this is Sunday, May 17th. Family, it's still April. All right. So you still have time to figure out what excuse you're going to get for not being with us at Ottawa Park. But now we know. So it's Sunday, May 17th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's hosted by the Lupus Foundation of America Greater Ohio chapter. So join us there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to see if I can get Jody to be there with me, because it's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I'm going to put in my do not come to work day or whatever that is. And so, in what year is this? Is this the first, third, fourth? What year is this?
Well, actually, this is the 5th year that I've been doing the walk itself. The walk is not Susan G. Komen. It's not a race. It's something that we can just take comfortably around the park, because a lot of people with lupus, their mobility is a disability. At one point in time, they told me that I should file for disability because I'm not supposed to be in the sun. So at the walk, we're going to have golf carts. Thanks to King Tone Golf Cart Rentals.
Right.
He is a bulldog, so he's been looking after me for the last 3 years. So we're going to have golf carts available for those people who cannot walk the walk, because a lot of people with lupus, they don't walk like me. I'm in the sun 24 hours a day, but I'm in the sun a large part of my day. They can't be like me. So I'm trying to look out for everybody, so there is no excuse. And matter of fact, there's no excuse, because lupus people, one day they feel good, one day they don't. So that's why I have a weekend of events, because what if you're not feeling good on Friday, but you're feeling good on Saturday, and you want to be amongst women or men or people who are talking about lupus, who care about people with lupus. I want you to be in that environment and know that there's a healthy, there's a bunch of us that are healthy who like to be encouraging to each other. So my events really start on that Friday.
Okay.
I have a wig giveaway. I'm giving away free wigs to women who have lost their hair to lupus. Those are the women I'm gearing towards first. Cancer, I'm gearing towards you too. But you women who already got some hair, and you just want to come out and snatch you up a wig for a day that you don't want to put that bonnet on, that's a donation to the Lupus Foundation. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. So that Saturday, we're going to have karaoke at the Bluegill.
Okay.
And that's going to be from 7 to 11.
And that's
so
right
some
down
of
the
us
street.
with lupus, yes, we have beautiful voices.
All right.
I try to work within the neighborhood. You know, this show is about the community. And this is a mail lady that's truly about her community. So I like to keep it in the community. So anybody that I service with delivering mail, you better know I'm asking them, can you help me raise awareness about lupus? So the DJ Cheryl, she's going to be the one heading us off on the karaoke. And then that Sunday, May 17th, that's the walk at Ottawa Park. You know, people say, mail lady, we didn't know about lupus until you started talking about it. So if you know somebody, if you don't know nobody, you know me. So come out and support us. The Lupus Foundation, Greater Chapter of Ohio, needs us to come out. They need us to come out to support one another, but they also need that funding. They need that funding because they want to come back in Toledo and give us the same things that they've been able to give to Columbus and Cleveland. So after the walk, I know it's a lot going on. That's why I want you to come out and support. You don't have to do it Friday. You don't have to do it Saturday. You can do it Sunday. You can do it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or you can do it all 3 days. But after the walk, I have This Is It, live entertainment at This Is It,
That's
where
awesome.
I have Bobby G, I have Dorothy Gray, I have Phyllis Gray, and Helen Peoples. They are all coming back to entertain us at This Is It. I'm using This Is It because some of those people live on the route. They mama that interviewed with me when the news channel then called me out. And then This Is It, when I needed a truck for Linda Jefferson to ride in the African American Festival Parade, This Is It gave me that Hummer.
All right. And that's a nice Hummer too.
Yes,
all right.
it is.
And shout out to This Is It and the owner and what I've heard about the food. So I'm going to try my best to get off work early and get a lunch there. All right. How can people contact you online to see all of those events that are happening?
Well, my page is public.
Okay.
So my name is Rochelle, R-A-C-H-E-L-L-E. My last name is Roy, R-O-Y. So you're more than welcome to jump on my page and check out all the events that are going on. But if you want to register, I would love for you to go to lupusgreaterohio.org and register for the walk. The walk is only $20. You know, Susan G, they went up to 45, 50. Lupus, we're a little small foundation. We don't have all of that. Matter of fact, the funding for the Lupus Foundation got cut drastically.
Yeah,
so we're just looking for
I think last week.
$20 for adults, and I think it's $10 for kids. We will have T-shirts available. So if you don't have purple to put on, I'll have some T-shirts out there for you to purchase.
Okay, I think I put my purple on today.
Yes, you did.
We heard you was coming in here today.
Hey.
All right. Last question. At CSRN, we're big on self-care. We're big on gratitude. Even though we speak truth to power about difficult things that a lot of people may not want to talk about, we've been able to do this because we take a self-care day. We're able to do this because we know that we're grateful for so many things. So for you, what do you do for self-care, for relaxation, for rebalancing that you can share online?
That part. You know what? I work on lupus.
Okay, beautiful.
I go to the Cherry Street Mission and I serve. I really go to the Cherry Street Mission and serve to get that thank you and please. And please and thank you, because I hear it so much from them that it just humbles me. But actually, my wind down time is helping others.
That's
because
awesome.
the lupus doesn't affect me as bad as it affects other people. So I'm able to be your cheerleader. I'm able to be that voice, that person. I'm telling you, I'm the only person that goes to the walk in Columbus and Cleveland who carries Toledo on their back.
That's awesome.
So I never get a break for me that I can tell y'all about.
All right.
But I can't tell y'all about that self-care is taking care of people with lupus.
That's beautiful. And last question. 3 things that you're grateful for, Rochelle. What would those be?
You know what? It might sound crazy, but I'm grateful for lupus. Because if God had not given me this, I wouldn't have a platform to stand on. I wouldn't have a voice in this community, and lupus would still be dormant. And nobody would still be talking about lupus.
That's right.
I am grateful for my relationship with God because I've seen him open up doors. Like when I thought that I was just going to put a few Corvettes and slingshots at Ottawa Park, God had a bigger vision for me. He had a door in Collingwood where 120 Corvettes and slingshots went into.
That's awesome.
I am grateful for the doors that open for me. I'm grateful for the friendships that I create. I'm grateful for people who believe in me when sometimes I don't believe in myself.
That part right there. All right. Rochelle, would you be willing to come back at another time and continue to share awareness for lupus, the journey with lupus, so that maybe we could break through the ignorance this way you broke through the ignorance with me? Would you be willing to come back?
You know what? I have the week going into the walk, I am off to promote this walk as much as I can because it is so needed in this community. All around this place, it says Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives Matter with lupus, but all lives matters with lupus because it's not just a Black disease. It's not just a woman disease. It's a us. There's us with lupus out here. So yes, I would love to come back.
That's awesome. Hey, we're going to come back with, thank you, Rochelle. This is awesome. All right. Almost broke character. We're going to come back with Jody Summers and our community shout outs and solutions and our weekly updates. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
So last year was hard. A curveball nobody saw coming, with something terrifying and heartbreaking seemingly every day coming out of left field. Isolation, frustration, loss. A city in suspension, a ballpark made empty, and the roaring of cheers lived as only echoes on the wind. You know, someone once said, Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. For there was no joy in Mudville. Well, we come from and work from the mud. Took that dirt and sand, melted down and built the glass. Even if we lose everything, we know how to make something special out of nothing. That is the heart of this place, this city, this people, this team. There's a beauty in the contradiction. That is why we cheer when rounding the diamond. That is why we cheer when waved home. After a year of silence, we are being waved home. That is the sound of joy after the storm fades. The lightning in the pitch, the thunder crack in the bat. The joy in Hinsville is back. Welcome home, Toledo.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
We're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Big shout out to Rochelle Roy and the Lupus Foundation of Greater Ohio that she came in to talk about Lupus Awareness Month, which is May, and May 17th, 10 to 1. There's going to be a lupus walk and ride at Ottawa Park. I'm going to make sure I'm in the place on that day, and make sure you are too. Hey, listen, family, we got a couple of community updates, shout outs, and solutions. One of the first things that I really wanted to promote was this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Let me see if I don't even think I got that. I don't have the artwork. Uh-oh. Well, anyway, this week's edition is regarding the U.S. motives behind a temporary ceasefire in Iran, a strategic pause or retreat? And that's a lot of people are asking that question. And this is from this week's Final Call newspaper. It says tensions remain high and bloodshed is still flowing despite a temporary halt in the United States and Israel's war on the Islamic Republic of Iran. At Final Call press time, negotiations were reportedly underway between the U.S. and Iran for the war raging since late February. And lastly, it says here that the fragile ceasefire brokered by the Islamic Republic of Pakistan was reportedly agreed to nearly 40 days into the conflict that spiraled into a global economic crisis and a multi-front war with related firefights in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and counterattacks from Yemen and by the Ansar Allah Houthis resistance group in support of Iran. So family, this is something that's ongoing, and at CSRN, we're going to make sure that you see those articles, which are located in this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And our brother Ibrahim Traore, he is a brother that's been in the news lately. If you are familiar with international politics, and particularly from Africa, he had said that we do not want a democracy that kills. And if you know anything about the imperialist countries, the colonial countries, they will bring a form of democracy that's the death knell for a lot of the countries in Africa, if not all. Here's what he said. He said the recent interview with Brother Ibrahim Traore, the president of Burkina Faso, has caused widespread debate after going viral across global media platforms. The headline, particularly from mainstream outlets, quickly framed his remarks as a wholesale rejection of democracy, even suggesting an intention to entrench permanent military rule. But this interpretation, while sensational, is deeply misleading. It strips this brother's statements of their political, historical, and material context that is essential to understanding both his words and the broader trajectory in that region. So, family, we already know that whenever the United States or the West bring you anything, you need to look carefully in that, all right? And just think, where did they bring democracy to?
Anywhere they can.
They brought it to Libya, and look at the state of Libya.
Iraq.
They brought it to Iraq. They brought it to Afghanistan. They brought it to Syria. They're trying right now to bring it to Iran. So, right. So just check their history. You don't have to take my word for it or Jody's word for it. Just check the history. And this brother is a magnetic brother. Line. This brother is definitely uniting Africa, allowing the African leaders to really consider their sovereignty instead of being at the colonial foot of Europe in those other countries. So, and lastly, I want everybody, if you can, to join us. Oh, and yeah, I've got this week's edition of the Final Call, but I had it was in the wrong
separate folder.
Yeah, separate folder. All right. Anyway, on Thursday, Councilman John Hobbs III and Councilwoman Venice Williams, who's the vice chair of the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Reform Committee, they want us to show up and show up to speak. I think we'll get a chance to speak in particular about how the police officer manhandled that young teen, when he should not have even had a reason to stop them walking on the street. No reason whatsoever. So that was instigated by the Toledo police. They reassigned him to another part of the city. I think that he should have got fired the same way they fired the brother that misswiped. Yeah. I'll call it misswiped something at Walmart. I know I've misswiped some things, but they will fire him and they keep another one on that was in a domestic violence dispute.
Yep.
So make it make sense. And for those who criticize our backing of the NAACP and Sister Williams and Brother Hobbs for having this, most people say, well, don't you guys got enough gang violence? Well, we're working on that. We've got many youth programs that target young people that want to make a difference. But we're talking about the people that are paid or to protect us, and they are out here profiling our children, stopping them in the middle of the day, in the middle of the street, and causing and manhandling them in that way. So when we say defund the police, we want him defunded too. We want him off the force, right? Yep. We want him off the force. So, Jody, those are some of the things that I wanted to highlight, as well as this week's we're going to have on Sunday the time to break the silence at Monroe Street Church. That's going to be it's going to start at 2:30, 3 p.m. The program starts. I'm going to be there. You've got a part of the speech.
Yep.
We're going to be representing CSRN and be able to, relive those words of Dr. King regarding war. And this is a great, it couldn't happen at a more relatable time. And matter of fact, Jody, every time that we do the Break the Silence, there's a war going on.
Unfortunately, so.
Right. Anyway.
America.
So, right. That's right. I was going to say something else.
Literally turned into that spoof movie.
Idiocracy. Idiocracy.
But Team America.
Yeah, absolutely. That too. Yep. All right, Jody. Hey, listen, we are 10 minutes out of 7 o'clock. If you've got a couple of things or a few things to update, and then we got to get into something from National Poetry Month. All right, it's the 30th year anniversary, even though poetry's been around more than 30 years. So, Jody, what are some of the things that you've seen in the community that you'd like to share?
Well, outside of that awesome commercial clip with a good friend of mine, Hunter Prey, there was Saturday, there was the Uncloistered Poetry, and this didn't have any features. It was all open mic. I believe they got 7 minutes to do their pieces and everything. Unfortunately, I was at what I'll talk about in a moment, my cousin's concert, but there was also Unbreakable book release celebration. That was a live event on Amazon. This was The Dancing Advocate and Rochelle Morshaw, great friend of ours and stuff here at the show.
That's right.
She had a book release. It's an anthology with a whole bunch of people. So hopefully you guys were able to check out that. Wednesday, April 8th, there was the Dooley's Blues at Riverside Barbecue. And then it was my cousin's Kayla Renee. She had a event over at Grumpy's live band, live music. It was the first time in 11 years. 11 years that I've skipped out on being at somebody's open mic, featuring at somebody's open mic, all of that good stuff. But it was Kayla Renee and Band 83. Want to say they were formerly known as 1983, the band, but it might be rebranding and stuff. Same people though. So it was a great turnout. They had 2 sold out shows. I was at the 8 p.m. show. You can see on my page and stuff like that. It was amazing. I've actually seen her grow as an artist since we were doing the Poetry and Soul at the Entrepreneurs Club 3 years ago. So it was a really good experience. I've never been to Grumpy's, and they had food if you wanted to buy stuff, buffet style and everything like that. So that was a few of the things I was able to see and attend, and, good things going on. So it is National Poetry Month. It is ending first quarter, going into second quarter.
Absolutely.
Q1, all that business stuff. But every single board right now is coming up with something for summer programs or benefits and stuff like that. So these are just a few of the things that are going on this week and this weekend. Happening right now is TRL, which is Toledo Listening Room. They have their open mic this time because they do it twice a month. This session is over at Handmade, and I believe that ends around 9 o'clock. I want to say it started at 5:30. So if you're there, shout out to everybody. If he gets sick again, I may try and make it, but if not, most people know what my Tuesdays enlist of are.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yep. Sorry I can't make it or anything like that. I actually had a board meeting that I had to do virtually before the show because I am a historic Vistula board member. Shout out to Deborah Sue and all of my board members over there. We got a lot of stuff going on for this summer and some big news to announce very soon. Tomorrow, and this is, what's coming up in case you might miss it. Also tonight, there is where I featured at last week, the Link, Sunkiss and Rob and Sean and everybody over there. This isn't a feature week, but their night starts at 7. So if you're on that side of town over by UT, make sure to go out and stop out at the Link. It is a free open mic. Tomorrow at 7:30, it is not a free open mic, but it's only $10. It's where I started my career many, many years ago, where I opened this year as my first feature with Kay Renee, who I used to host with. And that is the Poetry and Soul Sessions with Kay Renee. And the band starts at 7:30. Tickets are still on sale. You can pay tickets at the door for this month. And I'm looking down the list because she had just posted it. I'm not sure if there's a second feature, but she featured with us when we were at the Entrepreneurs Club. We have the amazing Natasha T. Miller. So that is one of the features. I'm not seeing a second feature. Normally, if there is, she would have posted it by now. So Natasha T. Miller, I will be seeing you tomorrow. And everybody gets some of the poems that I've been doing. I actually have been off for a minute from doing 30 days, but I wasn't doing technically that. So life happens, things happen. And I've written 8,000 poems. So I think I'm good in the history. I got 2 more submissions for magazines out of the country and stuff that I got to put in. But Also, this Thursday at 2:30, if you can make it, well, if you can't make it, it's virtual. So the last virtual town hall to find out what is going on with my job and everything at the Toledo Museum of Art is from 2:30 to 3:30. You can go online to toledomuseum/or.zoom.us and voice your concerns and opinions. I know there was a petition rolling around and stuff. Shout out to Miriam who sent me that. But yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, this weekend on the 19th is your last day to actually be inside the Green Building because we were closing for reconstruction and the biggest project in the history of the museum. But the Glass Pavilion will be open. The Symphony will be open. The Learning Center will be open. So we are one of the museums with the most amount of art classes in the United States. So you can still sign up for all of that good stuff. Also, this Thursday at 7 p.m., there's studio sessions with Letho. That is Carmelita Griswold, 4062 Monroe. That, I believe, is a free open mic as well. Also, this Saturday at 8:45 a.m., there is the Florence Scott Libby 419 5K and Riders Free Kids 1K, or 5K for adults, Riders Free Kids 1K. So that is put on by Toledo Road Runners and Tanda. I cannot say your last name, but if you go on social media, you'll be able to find all out about that stuff. It's at Ottawa Park. So pull up to Ottawa Park. There are tickets still available. And Saturday is a very busy day. Also this Saturday, Sonia, who's right down the street from us, Sonia Organics has an intro into herbalism, a master course, and that is going to be at 619 Woodland Avenue in Toledo, Ohio. I don't see a ticket or anything like that, so you might just be able to pull up. And that is going on the 18th at 9 a.m. and the 19th at 1 p.m. Also going on, a very good friend of mine who actually put me in school systems and stuff. This Saturday at noon is the AEC 5th annual I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through virtual open mic. This is Mo Poetry Phillips, an awesome person out of Cincinnati. This is Saturday the 18th. I don't know. It depends. We have rehearsals also this Saturday for our thing on the 19th. So if I'm able to make it, I will do my best to due diligence to make it and read some beautiful poetry. Also this Saturday at 2:30 p.m., Curtis Dieter. If you don't know him, he's been responsible for setting up a lot of the book fairs and stuff like that, gathering volumes. He used to do the WGTE programming, and I thank him for being able to put me on the radio station and stuff like that. But it is Ronald the Ronin. I believe he's releasing a new book, and that's going to be at Gathering Volumes, 200 East South Boundary in Perrysburg, Ohio. The time for that is at 2:30. Couple more things just to run it down the list. This Saturday at 4 p.m. back at the Toledo Museum of Art is the 125th anniversary public lecture with Julie McMaster. That is going on from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Also, there's a lot of stuff this Saturday at 6 p.m. where I will be, because I was the first feature this year in the Scribe newspaper. So the Scribe, which is a local and semi-national newspaper, it's a whole bunch of locations here in Michigan and everything like that. But we are having our Spring Art Spotlight Mixer, and that is going to be at 101 North Summit, Toledo, Ohio, at the Assembly. There's going to be artists there, people there. There are still tickets available. If you go on Eventbrite, if you get early tickets, I believe they're still available. With taxes and stuff, is like $12. So if you're able to make it and come out, promote your artwork, promote your friends, see some of the artists that are coming out and everything like that. This Saturday also, a friend of ours who we haven't seen in a very long time is Drunk Uncle for Congress, right in Michael Veloff.
Okay, Mike. All right. I can see
was
that.
wondering if you get that name. But that is going to be at 46 West 4th Street in Mansfield, Ohio. So So giving them a shout out, if you're a member, you are always a member. So we will try and support you as
That's
best
right.
as we possibly can. And finally, this Sunday, it is sold out, but I am going to promote it anyway, is the Cup of Joy Lecture, Art, Faith, and Shared History. This is going to be at the Toledo Museum of Art. Most likely one of the last events. This is going to be, I'm guessing, at the Glass Pavilion. So if you have already sold out that ticket, I hope you have a great show. It's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that is all the things I have until next week, because there's film mixers and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'll be talking about on the show.
All right. Well, as we said earlier, it is National Poetry Month, and we're going to highlight some poetry for our 5 minutes of heat. So for anybody that likes what we do, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App. That's the hashtag CSRN 419, and PayPal is CSRN. No, the PayPal is CSRN Toledo 419. We don't want the other guys get our Cash App. All right. PayPal is CSRN 419. We still have our Black Lives Matter signs, $20 each. Hit us up on the inbox. And hey, it can't be a better time for you to get a defund the Toledo Police Department sign for your own yard. So it's National Poetry Month, and we do something called 5 minutes of heat. We got that from the song 5 Minutes of Funk. Well, it's a rap, 5 Minutes of Funk from Houdini. I think that was back in the 90s or late 80s. And we took that title, 5 Minutes of Funk, kind of remixed it to 5 minutes of heat. Jody has been hitting them hard with no regard when it comes. Hey, that was a bar.
Yeah.
Hitting them with 5 minutes of heat. What do you have for us today?
All righty. So today I have a piece called Analog. I actually wrote it on the 5th. Again, I'm a few days behind. I'm not doing the challenge, but I will put out some bulk stuff when I have time to be online, because lately I've been taking a lot of self-care and not jumping online and trying to find out what's going on with the world. Like we were speaking, taking care of yourself, like Yvette was saying. Take care of yourself and take care of your own space. And that's what I've been focused on a lot more, versus going out into the world and taking care of everybody else and then winding up in the hospital like, oh, what's wrong with you? I ain't got nothing left.
That's right.
So trying to give myself some stuff left as things are not getting any younger. But this piece is called Analog, and you're going to read it with me. So let's begin. Peace. Trying to accept my privilege as an artist. I've always been at the right place at the wrong time, or at the wrong time at the right place. But even an analog clock is right twice a day. It's that pocket that I escape into, the low probability of something going right, even if everything else is going wrong. It's the highlights people see. But the filler story is how I even learned how to do all these things. The nightmares, the depression, the doubt, the sacrifice, the loneliness, the mistakes, the time wasted, the guilt, the moments of nothing, the isolation, and the over-exaggeration of everything I feel when I'm outside of my house. But I'm privileged, because I get to do all the things that most people will never do in their lifetime, as it's just another Monday, because my weekends are filled with entertaining audiences in whatever medium I decide to let the world peek in. The creative process is messy. Most will never see how it's done. And as you run your routine thousands of times to different audiences you may never meet again, you wish for your Mondays to be the week. There's not much safety net in being known. You can't technically apply for a new position because you created this identity that people expect. And the cost of all that compiles upon us on responsibilities of maintaining something that doesn't pay overtime, what it takes to stop and just take a moment to take a breath. So yes, I'm privileged to know that the fire will eventually go out, because we don't live forever. Maybe what we create will. So I stopped watching the clock. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. Jody, this is week 2 of
3, because there's actually 5 weeks in April, because we started offset. So yeah, technically week 3, kind of week 2 for us. Because the first was on a Wednesday.
All right.
So, and the end of the month isn't until a Thursday. So yeah, there's 5 weeks in this month.
All right, so that's going to give me another week to. I've got this book of poems at home. You're in it, and a few other poets from this area is in it. So I'm going to bring that. We'll go over which one I'm going to do, and I'm going to contribute my part in the National Poetry Month, the 30-year anniversary. But as always, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.